Hi guys, this is lesson 25, our first lesson of our new packet. We are going to look at tables, graphs, and linear equations. What we're going to be doing today basically is this: y equals mx plus b. Why is that so thin? Okay. Most of you hopefully recognize this. When you make an equation, you have an m and a b. The m is the slope. That's how steep something is. And the b is the y-intercept. Okay? So what we're going to do in this lesson is plot points and then identify the y-intercept and the slope. And then we're going to make an equation. So for number 1, I already plotted the points. Okay? Just quick review. This table, the x and the y make 1 point. So I did that. Now with the straight edge that I don't have, I connect those lines or those points to make a line. So let me do a different color. Our starting value, this guy right here, is our y-intercept, which is that. So you can just write -1, or you can just say b equals -1. That's an arrow, by the way. Looks like a b. Our slope, we're going to do the counting. So let me find another point. We go up 2 over 1. So I can say 2 over 1, or I can just say 2. And that's our m. The way I think m for slope is it's moving number. So now when we make our equation, we use y equals mx plus b. And all we have to do is plug in the m and plug in the b. And that's it. So I'm going to write my equation. Whoops. Y equals 2x. We don't write plus -1 because that's too many signs. So I'm going to write 2x minus 1. And there's our equation. Let's move down to the next one. So when I graph this, I look at the table and I see a bunch of decimals. You can graph them if you want. You don't have to. For a line, all you really have to do is plot 3 points. So I'm going to do the whole number ones. -2, 2. 0, 1. Time for first period. 2, 0. Okay, so I did this point, this point. When I connect my line, it goes through the other points. Okay, so now we need to label our y-intercept right there. So our y-intercept b equals 1. It's the point 0, 1. I wonder if I can zoom in a little bit. To find our slope, I'm going to pick any other number, and I have to move down 1, right 2. So since I'm going down 1 and then right 2, that would be -1 over 2. And that kind of makes sense to me because when you have a negative slope, your line is decreasing. So remember, when we make our equation, we have y equals mx plus b. We have to plug in our m number and our b number. So it's y equals -1/2 x plus 1. Pretty cool, huh? I think it's pretty cool. Let's go to number 3. So in this table, you can see that there are some blanks. That's okay. I'm just going to plot my points that I have. 1, 2, 3. Here's the first one, -3, 5. -1, 3. 1, 1. And 3, -1. Now, you can hopefully see a pattern, and I have a feeling we can fill these in. So when x is -2, there we go, -2, 4. So if you see, we're just moving down 1. That's a 2, a really messy 2. So that's a 0. Okay, so we did that. You can put the points in if you want. Now I'm going to connect them with my shaky morning hand. 7:30 in the morning, and I'm on a Chromebook upside down. Sorry. Our starting value is our y-intercept. which is a 2. Change in y as x increases by 1. So that's another word for slope. So for our slope here, we're going down 1, right 2. I'm sorry, down 1, right 1, negative 1 over 1. So our slope we can say is negative 1. And our equation is y equals negative 1x plus 2. One thing I forgot to mention on the first page, it's always good practice to label your graph. Sometimes it makes a big difference, sometimes it doesn't. When in doubt, label it. Okay, number 4, about halfway done. We only have 2 points, but I can see my x's are going up by 1, okay? Whoops. I'm trying to erase. There we go. And my y's from negative 9 to negative 5, they're going up by 4. So I can fill in these blanks. I just keep adding 4. Okay. And now I'm only going to plot the first 2 points because that's all I want to plot. Negative 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, very, very bottom. Negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I always like to get the y-intercept, so I'm just going to plot our y-intercept 0, 3. Oops. Okay. So our y-intercept, it's always the y-axis where the x is 0, so our y-intercept is 3. And I said we were going up by 4, up 4, right 1, which is 4. That's our m. So our equation is y equals 4x plus 3. Now, number 5, I want you to try this one. I'm going to pause my video, and then you can check your work, just to make the video a tip shorter for you. So what I did was I plotted our 2 points, negative 3, 8, and 0, negative 1. And now with my straight edge that I don't have, actually, let's do this. Remember, well, start value we can tell, b equals negative 1. It's always when the x equals 0. So because I don't really have a straight line going, I used my own shaky hands, I'm going to use an alternative. I'm going to use our slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you were doing this in class and you had a ruler, you could just look at your graph, but I don't have that option. So remember, this is x1 and y1. This is x2 and y2. So I'm going to plug my numbers in, negative 1 minus 8 over 0 minus negative 3. So that gives me negative 9 over 3. So our slope is negative 3. Copy that down if you want. I'm going to erase it. Whoops, I'm going to try to erase it, only because it's too messy. Okay, that's kind of scrap work. So now I'm going to fill in the rest of my table. I'm just decreasing by 3 as I go. And now I'm going to fill in my equation. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals negative 3x minus 1. Okay, move on to the last page in our notes. For this one, you're not given anything on the table. You got to find the points on the graph. So I always like to start with my y-intercept, which is a 3. So that's the point 0, 3. Then our next point is 1, 5. I could keep counting on my graph, but I'm not gonna, because I can see this is going up by 2. So it's easier for me, less work, just to count up and down. But you can find all those points, that's fine. So my y-intercept is 3, my slope up 2, right 1, and my equation, y equals mx plus b. Okay, our last problem now. This is a negative slope. The graph is going downhill. I'm going to start with my y-intercept, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can fill this in, 0, 5. And I have the next one is 1, 4. So my slope, I'm going down 1. So my slope is -1. I can make my equation now. Might as well do that. Y equals -1x plus 5. And now I can fill my table in. I can use my graph, my points, but I know since this is going down 1, I'm just going to use that pattern. And if I go backwards, it's going up. And there's my graph. Alrighty, guys, your assignment is to do pages 4 and 5. And then I'll meet you back here. And for lesson 26, we're going to do some shortcuts. Take care, guys.